What's up, YouTube? It's Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers as the season has closed. So if you guys are Steelers fans or you enjoy NFL content in general, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Shout out to the people who have subscribed already. And shout out to the future subscribers, man. Also, let's get a shout out to the members. If you guys would like to support me and this channel more, be sure to hit that join button down in the description below. And yes, the regular season has concluded. Yesterday, I did my last post-game reaction of the season, or I guess of the regular season, because we still do have a playoff game to play. And I have calmed down a little bit. I have relaxed from my, heated mentality I was in yesterday. And I am just, at this point, I'm still disappointed. I won't lie. I'm still disappointed. I'm still pretty frustrated in the team itself. But I kind of wanted to use this video to get off my last gripes or whatever. For the last month, man, for the last month and a half, it's like I've been complaining. And honestly, I've been searching for positive things to say about the team, but I'm struggling to come up with it. So this is going to be like my last negative thing that I have to say up until the playoff game, because past this point, we still do have a game to play. We still do have a chance, to continue the season on, to further the agenda, right? But this is going to be my last and final gripes with this team, because I think it's something we got to talk about. Because when we look at the Steelers team, right, who is the first guy we think of? To me, when you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2024, with all the players that we've had come and go, the guy is Mike Tomlin, right? And this isn't going to be a Fire Mike Tomlin video, although I'm sure you guys would love to see that. I'm sure there's a lot of Steelers fans who are done with Mike Tomlin, but somehow, some way, I still find myself believing in the guy. And I've made this video numerous times before about, Mike Tomlin's wins and Mike Tomlin's losses. Like, he's good at this, but then bad at this. He succeeds at this, but then he fails at this, right? And so this isn't going to be your first time hearing these takes if you've been on the channel for a little bit, but he is the guy that we have to start with, because we found ourselves in the position of mediocrity. We found ourselves in the position of being stale, being dry, being this team that, we never have a losing season, but at what cost? Is the cost not being able to progress? How can we get this good, right? How can we be a 10-win team always, right? But then we can't get it to a playoff win. We can't get it to an 11, 12, 13 win season anymore. How did we get to this point? And I'm sitting here, I'm questioning, I'm struggling, trying to figure it out. But what I think it starts with is the lack of aggressiveness at the coordinator positions, because we are very stagnant in the hiring process of offensive and defensive coordinators. One thing we got to mention, we had Brian Flores in the building last year as or I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but we had him in as a linebacker coach, right? And a lot of the talk has been, this guy should have just flat out been our defensive coordinator. We had Keith Butler before, and now we have Terrell Austin. Before Keith Butler, we had the famous Dick LeBeau, right? And since Dick LeBeau is gone, it's been all downhill since Todd Haley left, since Bruce Arians left our offensive side. The coaches we've brought in after the fact have just been kind of mid. And so that right there is a huge key telling detail as to how we are playing the way we are playing, because our coordinators themselves, I gotta be honest, and I don't want to, just be this complaining guy. I don't want to hold somebody's job for ransom or whatever. I don't want to be on here, cursing up a storm anymore. But I will say, our offensive and defensive coordinators, they're ass, man. I'll be honest. Terrell Austin, the schemes that we be playing, it's just not very good. It's very easy to pick apart our defense. It's very easy to figure out how to beat us on defense. And I know what you're thinking. How is it easy? When we only allow this many points, it's because when teams want to score, when teams are watching film on us, I swear to God, we get diced apart. We get picked apart on defense all of the time, right? And so Terrell Austin, in my humble opinion, in my just a guy making YouTube videos in his basement house, right? If I'm being honest, I think he's been bailed out a lot by talent, right? He's been bailed out a lot in the TJ Watt department, in the Minkah Fitzpatrick department, in the Cameron Hayward department. We've had these splash playmakers all over our defense, and it has allowed coaches like Terrell Austin to kind of hide under the radar. But it's only when in these horrible moments, when we're giving up 45 to Jacksonville, or we're giving up 38 to Cleveland in a postseason game, or even the Bills game last season in the playoffs, where we're just down 21 points all of a sudden. The offense, they have no help. The offense, they fucking, they can't do anything to help us out. And so it only becomes to this point when the negatives happen. But when the positive happens, it's it's kind of under the radar. Same thing with Mike Tomlin himself. When Mike Tomlin's winning, we're on here Mike Tomlin for coach of the year. But then once we start losing, all of these problems that we like ignore, all of these problems that we just kind of sweep under the rug, they just all come to the light, man. And it's like this with real life. It's like this with anything in your life. Like if you just don't address things and you let them build up and build up and build up, eventually it's going to get to the point where it just spills over and you say things you don't mean. It's going to get to the point where, like, instead of like reacting rationally, you're making videos about, yo, we need to fire Mike Tomlin, we need to get him the hell out of here, you know? And so this video right here, I think, is just me kind of voicing my frustrations with the team. And Mike Tomlin, he is like the head of it. He is the guy that, like, he's the guy who answers for it, because he is our head coach. He has a lot of influence on the team. He has a lot of sway on who we hire. And who we've hired so far, when we look at the offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, you know, it's his first year here. But honestly, I think he's kind of mid. Like, I think we do need a new offensive coordinator. It's hard to judge in the system, though, because our offensive line isn't really the best. And like, the players on the offensive line, I'm trying not to make this a ranty video. I'm doing my best, I swear. But the players on the offensive line, to me, these are guys we can grow with, right? Like, I don't think we need to like drastically turn over players like our center, our guards, our tackles. Like, I think low key, outside of injury, I think we have all of these guys like ready to go. It is just the schematics of it. It's the scheming of it. We're trying to be this running team. We're trying to be this running, powerful, dominant team. And we just can't do that, right? And so I think our O-line coach needs to go. I think our defensive coordinator needs to go. I think our offensive coordinator, we're probably going to bring back Arthur Smith, but even at his best, at Arthur Smith's in his bag, all the way at the bottom like the fries, in his very best play calling situations, I don't think it's good enough, right? Like at his best, I just don't think it's good enough. And so I think they all need to go. Now, the players themselves, we talk about the quarterback position. Was Russell Wilson the right choice to make? We have one more game to play, and so, you know, maybe we can just shut me the fuck up. But was Russell Wilson the right guy to play? Truthfully, at this point in life, I don't know, because Justin Fields seemed to be hooping, and then Russell Wilson seemed to be hooping for a second too, but one day it just all fell apart. We remember the like week 10, week 11 post-game reactions we were making. We remember when we took down Washington. We remember when we took down Cleveland the first time. We remember when we took down Baltimore the first time. Like, and in the Baltimore game, you know, Boswell came up big in that, so maybe that's not the best like example to give, but we remember how good we felt, and then it just all collapsed. And it felt good though with Russell Wilson in there. It felt good though with Justin Fields in there. And so like, it's hard for me to be like, yes, we need a new quarterback. But I think personally, we should let Russell Wilson go. And this is, you know, unless we go on a fucking Super Bowl run and we just win the whole thing. I think we need to let Russ go. And we leave Justin Fields in there. Now, I don't think Justin Fields at this current moment, like, I don't know if you can just commit to him and give him like a 10-year deal and like he's our quarterback of the future. But I think he's played good enough to the point to where he is somebody we can keep with a different offensive coordinator. The players that we have on defense are of course, we can keep TJ, we can keep Minka, we can keep all these guys. Like, we have studs on the defensive department, right? But like, with a new defensive coordinator, we need to keep these guys. With the offensive line, I believe like Samalu, he didn't necessarily have the greatest year this year, but like we have Frazier, we have Mason McCormick played pretty good. Troy Fatanu, he got hurt this year. We'll have to see if he's a key piece. Broderick Jones is, you know, Broderick Jones, he's trying, right? Like, and like there's still flashes sometimes. Dan Moore, I'll be honest, I was hating on Dan Moore before he like started playing good, and it was like, yay, Dan Moore, but now he's back to being Dan Moore. Dan Moore, he should have been gone a while ago, I'll be honest. So like, I don't think we need to roll into next season with Dan Moore. Not too much on Dan Moore. Thank you for all you've done for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pittsburgh community, Mr. Dan Moore. But I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is somebody I think we can kind of, you know, move forward without, right? But the players, like, I think we have it. And like, now we're going to think about Najee Harris in the running game. Like, do we keep Najee? Do we let him go? Personally, I think you let Najee go. Now, not too much on Najee Harris. I believe he's a pretty good locker room guy. But at this point in the running back market, I think we can kind of get another guy, and it just is what it is. Jaylen Warren is somebody on the team who I really want to keep. But the point of this all is like, we need to be way more advanced in these offensive and defensive coordinators and the offensive line coordinators. Like, we need to have way better coaches than what we have now. And Mike Tomlin is the guy who, like, he answers for it, right? He's the guy who, like, is making these decisions. He's making these hires. Like, I don't know if he's like literally writing out the contracts for these guys, but come on. Can we be honest for a second, guys? Like, if Mike Tomlin didn't want his offensive coordinator, do you think we would still have Arthur Smith? If he didn't want Terrell Austin, do you think we'd still have Terrell Austin? No, like, it's because he is complicit in it. We are complicit in being mediocre, and that is just something we cannot do anymore. Mike Tomlin, I love you, and I never want another head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll be honest. Like, I never want that to happen. But if we can't move on, if we can't figure out how to get rid of these guys, how to like how to progress as a team, then like there's nothing to talk about, man. We're gonna have to cut the head off the snake, as they say, and like we got to just get rid of Mike Tomlin. But that is something that I don't think we need to do. It's something that I think is unnecessary at this point. And so yeah, we just need more. We need better coordinators, and we need Mike Tomlin to take his influence off of it. I mean, like this goes back to the defensive thing and like why we didn't keep Brian Flores. It's because I think Mike Tomlin is like still trying to be our defensive coordinator. Like I think he has a huge influence on the defense. Now, if I'm just talking out of my ass, then let me know. And like if he's not, then why isn't he? Because Mike Tomlin is this defensive guy. Like why is he not having more of an influence on the defense if like we're getting picked apart like every third game? Like literally we have never ever come close to beating Kansas City. Like not even close to beating these guys. They kill us every time. Tom Brady used to kill us every single time. We almost like look what happened against the Eagles this year. Like we lost to the Browns before this year, guys. Like this is what I'm saying. Like receivers are wide ass open against us constantly. I know our secondary department isn't necessarily the best, but it's just like the schematics of it all. We've been complaining about it. We've been bitching about it forever. We can't get off the field on third down. We can't make tackles. There's just like little things that add up, you know? And if you're a Steelers fan out there and you're still at like watching this video, like you know I'm telling the truth. It is the unfortunate truth. We love all of our players. We love Mike Tomlin. We love all these guys. But like at the end of the day, we got to figure out something different. We have to progress as a team. And I think the biggest thing that we need to do is we have to get all new coordinators. If we are running a similar offense to what we were running this season, then it was a flop. It was a fail because this offense does not work. It doesn't work. I'm watching the Bengals move the ball whenever they want against the star-studded defense. I am watching our offense with a chance to win the game, a chance to take the lead down the stretch, and like we just can't fucking do it. Now, why we can't do it and why we could earlier in the season, I'm not sure. Once again, I said it in my last video, but if like some shit came out that like George Pickens was just like locker jamming his teammates and shit and they were getting pissed off, or like he was like dumping a bucket of water on their socks so they had to play with wet socks all the time, I literally would not be surprised, because like this fall off is just, it makes no fucking sense. So, and like that's what I'm saying. I don't know why we fell apart like we did, but the writing was on the wall. Like we were gonna be mid regardless, because we're just complicit with this whack play calling. We're complicit with this whack defensive play calling. We're complicit with the wacko line coaching. Like we were having Kevin Dotson go to a different team, and the dude just gets like a 4-year extension, like $100 million, because he's eating, he's hooping. And we literally just had the guy, and we're talking about we need to build up the offensive line. We need to be a better running team, and like we just had this guy, but because of the schematics, because of how we use them, it just didn't work. Speaking of George Pickens, I don't know if this is going to be the George Pickens, like, you know, super duper negative video, but we got to figure that out too, because George Pickens, I know like the drops and shit, like that's just mental errors, but there are a lot of non-mental errors that happen with him. He gets penalized a lot. He doesn't like block sometimes. He like won't go for fumbles sometimes. It's just like a lot of like weird stuff going on with George Pickens, and we love George, but if he is going to be like this hindrance to the team, if he is going to like prevent us from like moving on, if he's going to prevent us from like being able to run this crazy offense, then like get rid of George Pickens, man. I'm sorry, but we got rid of Deontay Johnson, for God's sakes. And like honestly, and you guys, I know you guys hate Deontay Johnson. I'll be honest. I know you guys aren't the biggest fans of him, but Deontay was like nice. You know what I'm saying? Like he was nasty for us. He really was. They'll point to that 1 year without a touchdown that like they always talk about. It happened. It's very unfortunate he didn't get a touchdown, but like he was very good when he was catching the ball and not fumbling. You know, Deontay, and we got rid of him. We got rid of Antonio Brown before. We got rid of Le'Veon Bell before. We can get rid of George Pickens if we have to. I still think there's something salvageable though. But at some point too, it becomes like we got to send a message. We got to show like the world, we got to show ourselves that we are not fucking around here, man. Like we're not having Cameron Hayward at 35, 36 years old playing through the flu, trying to get one more ring, trying to go on one more run, giving the city of Pittsburgh whatever they need. And at the same time, like he's doing all this for us, and then like we're just allowing George Pickens to not block. We're just allowing George Pickens to not go for fumbles. We're just allowing George Pickens to have to get talked to by Pat Freiermuth, by Russell Wilson, by Mike Tomlin, by Justin Fields, by name a veteran on the team. Like they are like trying to talk this guy off the edge every single game, and it's like fuck, man. Like what do we like? Nobody is winning, George. Like I don't know if George Pickens knows that, but like nobody is moving the ball. Like nobody is getting the ball. Like the team itself is ass. It's not just you, George. Like it is not just you getting like frozen out the offense, because why the hell would we freeze our best receiver out of the offense? Now, there's a lot of games that happen where like we just don't use George Pickens or whatever. Like that's inexplainable. That's inexcusable. Matt Canada and Arthur Smith, you know, we got two rocket scientists as the offensive coordinators, you know, and then we look at Kenny Pickett and down the stretch, Russell Wilson. We've had fucking, you know, two Tom Brady's at quarterback for a little bit. So I get that. But at the end of the day, like, you can't be a distraction to the team. And if like you're becoming too much of a distraction, if I have to make, another video about George Pickens again, it's just at some point, is it even worth it at some point? And I know he's gonna, and like this is what's sad. I know he's gonna shine on a different team. I know he's a fucking all-time talent. All-time is a little crazy, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, I know he's a talent. We all know he's a talent, but shit, at some point, like, maybe we just gotta cut ties. I don't know. And then you know what though? I'm all this negative shit. Our special teams unit this year, Dan Smith, you deserve an Oscar. You deserve like the Medal of Freedom or some shit put on you by the President of the United States, because like our special teams unit this year was hooping. Like, we had good punts, we had good punt recoveries, we had Boswell fucking, damn near set the field goal record this year. Like, our special teams was flawless this year, so shout out to them. We're not talking to you guys. Like, you guys did your thing this year. I don't know if you're separate from the team or whatever. We need to figure out what Dan Smith is doing, how he is going about the special teams unit, and how they all play together, and put this on the defense, put this on the offense, because in the defense, like, sometimes it's mid, but like there's flashes of greatness there, right? Like there's flashes of like, okay, like this is a comparable team, but that I think is because of the talent more so than the schematics. Like, our schematics are, please sack the quarterback. Thank you. Like, please, 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 we're begging you to sack the quarterback. And if you don't sack the quarterback, guess what? Someone's open 15 yards down the field and we missed a tackle, and Minka just did like a helmet first, missed the tackle too. So like now it's a touchdown, like that is our defense. But sometimes we do be sacking the quarterback. You know what I'm like? Sometimes that shit be working. And so like there's that. But the offense, I'll be honest, I don't know what the fuck the plan is on offense. Because like I mentioned earlier in the video, we're supposed to be a running team, but we're not good at that. And so like once that goes out the window, we have nothing. If Najee Harris isn't throwing 7 defenders off of him for a first down, it's not happening. If Connor Hayward isn't catching a flea flicker, then like our offense is not happening. If George Pickens doesn't make a one-hand grab, tiptoeing on the sidelines, it's not happening. And so the defense, like there is some hope there, but the offense, Arthur Smith, I'm sorry, man, but it didn't work out. We need a completely new identity on offense. I will be honest. Like whether that's new quarterback and OC, whether that's Justin Fields and new OC, whether that's I don't know, Carson Wentz and fucking, Ben Johnson or some shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck we got to do, but it has to look different next year. Like, we have to dye our hair. We have to we have to change our name. We have to do everything possible to look completely different on offense next year, because if not, we have no chance of winning anything. And all of this said too, because the season is not over. All of this is said with the asterisk of, hey, if we go on a little bit of playoff run, all of you get to keep your jobs. All of you are saved. Arthur Smith coached for 10 years. Terrell Austin coached for 15 more years. TJ Watt, keep playing. Cam, keep playing. Like, all of you guys can keep playing. All of you guys can keep doing your thing if we go on a run. But the writing is on the wall. Like, we've been in this boat before, and I'm tired of being on this boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a long-ass trip. Like, when are we going to dock? You know what I'm saying? And so, what else is going on with the team? At this point, I don't really know. I'm frustrated, but I wanted this to be kind of a more relaxed, calm down, thinking kind of video. And I know you guys are thinking about it too. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments. That's like just been a huge hindrance to us. But it's really shitty right now, man. It really sucks to be a Steelers fan, because I love this team. I love this team so fucking much, man. Like, I literally bleed black and gold. If I cut myself right now, I swear to God, gold would come out. Now, maybe I should sell that or something. But like, that is how much I love this. I love this team like no other fan. I genuinely think I genuinely think I am like the biggest Steelers fan ever. I really do believe that. Now, if I know you guys out there, you guys probably love the Steelers too, and so maybe you'll take me up on my offer. But I genuinely believe that I love this team the most, and so like it hurts to see this team falling apart. It hurts to see how they be talking about us, how these other fans talk about us. The last point too, like, we had the AFC North in our hands, man. Like, we literally had it, and we let the Ravens get it, and we helped the Bengals get to the playoffs. I don't know. Who cares? There's football on right now, but who cares? Because, like, it's not the Steelers. We literally let this happen under our noses, and we had the shit in our hands, and we just collapsed. That's what sucks about it. That's what feels, like, really shaky about it. People are saying this is 2020 light, but I feel like in 2020, the early stages of it, like, we were undefeated and beat who was in front of us, but we didn't, like, it didn't feel as good as this year felt when we were taking down teams. Like, this year felt like, holy shit, it is different. We are here. And then it just got reality checked, man. I don't know. It was like we were on a limitless pill or something in the beginning of the season. I don't know. But point of it all is it sucked to be in this position. It sucks to be in this position right now, especially with how good we've been. I don't think we've been this good in the early season since like 2017. And so that's why, like, us falling apart like this, it hurt like no other. It hurt like honestly, it feels like we lost the playoff game. It feels like we lost the Jacksonville game in this 4-game skid right now. And maybe, just maybe, we roll into Baltimore and we take them down and it's all smiles again. But right now, it doesn't feel like smiles. Right now, it feels like frowns. And I'm going down in my gown because I'm leaving this town on the sound. Go around. I don't know. At this point, I'm just ranting. I really think I'm going to end the video here, but I'm frustrated with this team. Let me know down in the comments if you guys want to voice your frustrations or, point to some positives about the team. As I mentioned, the special teams unit was really good this year. I thought Peyton Wilson played pretty good. Beanie Bishop was a good signing for us, and we have one more game to play, so we'll get to see them do their thing, and maybe we'll have more games to play, but there's just not a lot of happiness to talk about in Pittsburgh. Are we going to trade Mike Tomlin? I've been seeing that too. Like, are we going to trade the guy? Is that where we're at in point? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, this has been Zaya from Zaya and the Steelers. I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you in the future. Peace out.